This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the 2024 Virgo New Moon. The new moon takes place on September 2nd, 2024 at 6:55 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 9:55 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and on September 3rd, 2024 at 1:55 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time at 11 degrees Virgo, 4 minutes. This year's Virgo New Moon is relatively uncomplicated and straightforward. Compared to recent events, it's not particularly dramatic or electric or explosive. It isn't pushing or shoving or screaming, although it does deliver a different, potentially startling, and no doubt better way of thinking. Instead, it's as unfussy and uncluttered as the sign prefers, returning us, even if briefly, to sanity, to grounding, and to critical reasoning. After the crazed pace and information whirlwinds of the past few months, we are in back-to-school, back-to-work territory. Virgo is the fix-it zone of the zodiac, where evaluation views everything through a lens of improvement. It values cleaning, making lists, and organizing. It's an advocate for healthy eating, living, choices, and boundaries. Sure, it can be hypocritical, even of itself, especially of itself. But this trait comes from the ability to step outside situations and examine them with objectivity. And the result, many times, is a compulsion to do something. That impulse is the gift of this new moon. Take stock of where the past few months have landed you. Allow the noise and clutter and balloons to subside for a moment and consider your terrain. Two recent powerhouse influences from the two previous full moons are still hanging around, though their impact isn't as dramatic as in recent weeks. This moon gives us the wherewithal to, that phrase again, do something with them. The paradox we recently experienced, coming from competing demands to contain expansion and excessive options and to amplify obligations and restrictions, affects the seeds, intentions, fresh starts, and next stages of this new moon. The moon widely locks into the ongoing Jupiter-Saturn square by recreating the configuration when the square was exact August 19th. The moon is roughly where Venus was then, another more internal representative of the feminine, interestingly, and opposing Saturn, challenging its mandate for order and responsibility, and squaring Jupiter, which is, like the moon, under the rule of Mercury. If your mind is still in overdrive, if you're still being bombarded by information overload, this T-square angles for setting boundaries, for turning off noise and clearing out mental clutter, for sorting through the clutter, evaluating the details, and determining what is useful and what is not. The moon's ruler is assisting the process. Mercury is repeating the startling, awakening, liberating jolt he delivered at July's Capricorn full moon. He's moving back into a square to quick change artist Uranus, which will be exact, on September 7th. The impact dislodges info for the Virgo process. Whatever you hear, whatever you learn, whatever breaks open or apart, work with it. It's showing you something you can clean or reorganize or make healthier or use. Some of what you're seeing differently has quite the tail. The three outermost planets are traveling cooperatively now for the next 2.5 months, with Neptune in opportunity aspects with Uranus and Pluto, and Uranus and Pluto in a trine. The three-way may dredge up sludge from Uranus's time in Taurus, since 2019, Neptune's journey through Pisces, since 2011, and Pluto's foundation reconstruction work since 2008. Now, this is going to involve some tweaking in your thinking and adjustments in your information diet. Maybe move allegiances, drop some, adopt new ones, alter your own messaging. Mercury is in an inconjunct to both Neptune and Pluto at the receiving end of a yod or finger of God. It is right and good to make these adjustments. Also timely. Also required. So, back to that sludge. When you encounter some of it, what's your assignment? All together now. Work with it. Use it. Do something. The beginnings sprouting from this new moon are not for some far-off future. They are for the here and now, on this plane, in real time. Embrace the analytical reasoning that's available to you and think. What are the logical next steps? You don't have to take leaps. In fact, decide not to. Break everything down. First X, then Y, then Z, then... Hey, what are you doing still reading this? Get to work already. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. Visit my site, empowermentunlimited.net, to sign up for my mailing list and get a Jupiter in Gemini quick reference guide as a thank you for subscribing. Listen to my weekly podcasts and book a session with me. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, including a discussion of the Neptune-Pluto sextile through mid-November, and I am deeply grateful to the people who support my work there. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio and TV on the first and third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also host lively conversation on Facebook on the page Empowerment Unlimited and in the group the Astro-Insight Lounge. I post on Instagram and Threads at Ka Biehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel.